there, didn't I? So, today is a great day. We are dedicating the new building this afternoon, and it's going to be blessed by the Archbishop himself. Now, I want to say that this is going to be an all-parish celebration. I hope that you're able to make it, because it is not just a school celebration. It's for all of us. It is a victory for all of us, because that new building is connected to this one. It is connected as surely as knowledge, faith, and devotion are connected. That is largely the message we heard in the gospel today. In the gospel, Jesus talked a whole bunch about the bread of life. Okay, obviously, bread of life, Eucharist, the church, the worship space, this place. But Jesus also said that by the order of the prophets, all shall learn from God. And when you learn from God, you will wind up at Christ's side. And I love that. I do agree with that because, we hear it in the gospel, John chapter 6, we all learn from God. And all that is wholesome, bless you, all that is holy, all that is true and worthy of us, all of that will lead us back to the bread of life. I actually really like what one of my professors from Sacred Heart said on the matter. He put it in this wonderfully succinct way. He said, as a people, new information comes into our awareness. And as a church, we incorporate that new information to the best of our ability. But if that new knowledge is incompatible with what we hold sacred and true, we can refuse to take it. I don't know about you, but I take great comfort in that advice. Because if something cannot possibly lead us to the altar, it probably shouldn't be taught. Okay? We do not need to accept every piece of knowledge that the world coughs up on our doorstep like a cat. Some of it's actually really gross. You just kind of kick that away. So, we can acknowledge the fact that the knowledge exists, and we can, acknowledge biological warfare. We can create man-made germs to vanquish our enemies. But we can and should say, no, that's unacceptable, and the world is a better place without that knowledge. I realize that's an extreme example, but I trust that you get the point. All knowledge is not necessarily good. And it falls to us to have the wisdom to see the difference. And to see the difference and to pass on the good parts to the next generation, well, you know what? That is the true worth of Catholic education, the way I see it. We have that new building as a visible sign for us all. And it's a great visible sign. It's all shiny and new. The gymnasium is gigantic. And I have it on very good authority that the air conditioning is going to be fantastic. But you know what? All those things are surface pleasures. They're extras. Technically speaking, we don't need them. So we will enjoy them in their proper proportion, and we should enjoy them guiltlessly, because it wasn't exactly easy to get them in the first place. But they are not what make Catholic education great. What makes Catholic education great, and will continue to make it great, is this. As many of you know, there is a massive amount of garbage out there that our kids are better off without. And all across the board, I say that Catholic education is the very best at keeping that garbage away. Unfortunately, I can't boast 100% success. As you well know, we are far from 100% success in that way. We've had some pretty major blunders in our history. But even with those in mind, I maintain that Catholic education, be it our day school or our Christian formation programs, they have a quality that has no substitute anywhere else. And the reason for that quality is not complicated. It's this: the people involved in Catholic education have a personal investment in the youth that they teach. All right? It's not just a job. I said before that faith and knowledge is connected. Well, you know what? We're that bridge between faith and knowledge, the people. We are the ones that make it real because we care about our church. We care about the education of our youth as if they were our own. And it's something that we're all a part of. To be an educator in this place, to be a teacher in this place, just to be a role model in this place, that is so much more than a job, as so many of you understand. It's a way to make the world a better place, and you don't even need to leave Cedarburg to get it done. I guess to put it simply, Catholic education has never been about the money. Unfortunately, I can say that with authority, because Catholic schools traditionally are not able to pay competitive salaries for their teachers. We'd like to, it's just easier said than done. And while that is a point of shame for the church's financial state, I suppose, it is a point of honor for the individual teachers. I mean, they are living witnesses that money is not their sole motivation. If it was, they'd go somewhere else where they'd be paid more. But no, they stay because they care. They are personally invested to this community or whatever community they're associated with. And I can say something similar about catechists for Christian formation. I mean, sure, some of them get a small stipend for their time and energy, but come on, whoever volunteered to be a catechist for the money? No, it's that dedication to the community. And that personal dedication is what gives them the power to pass on the good things of this world and keep the bad things away. That has so much of my respect. And the great thing about what I'm talking about is you do not need to be a professional educator to be a part of this, because religious education is just as important to a child's upbringing as their formal schooling. Okay? Says the priest who didn't go to Catholic school. Okay? That's an indication. Now, I am very proud of my dad for going to Catholic school, as well as my little sister for a while. But for me, my faith educators were my parents, my grandparents, my pastor, and the volunteers of my community that chose to jump in for my sake. And that's pretty awesome. Now, it is not coincidence that I'm bringing this up now, because we're getting near to the beginning of the school year, which means we're getting to about that time where we're ready for a few more catechists to join us for Christian formation. Unfortunately, it's early yet, so I don't know how many more we need or for what grade level, because the information about how many students we have, who's going to Monday night, who's going to Wednesday night, all that's still coming in. It's the nature of the beast. This happens every year. But we're always in the market for a few more people that want to help out. And we're not looking for theology majors, and we're not looking for saints who have memorized every prayer in our faith tradition, which, by the way, is a requisite I have not succeeded at fulfilling. We're just looking for people high school age or older that want to give back to the youth of the community. If you've got that, I am telling you, everything else is going to fall into place, as long as you just keep Christ in focus for yourselves and for your future students. And I hope that you do that, not just for their sake, but for your sake. Because like I said, I am inviting you for the dedication later on, but I'm inviting you for more than that. I am inviting you to deepen your faith. Because I will promise you this, I will be shocked if any teacher contradicts this. Every teacher learns something from their students, as surely as the students learn from the teacher. Now, granted, you probably won't be learning the same lesson, but I promise you that learning process is two-way. And frankly, that's what I love so much about my teaching days when school is in session, because I have the family program on Monday nights, and then I have Christian formation on Wednesday nights, and I visit the school on Thursday afternoons. And I love it because I get to go, I get to teach about things I care about, and in return, most days, I leave that classroom a little more enlightened than when I first entered it. So, once again, we've got a shiny new building. I'm inviting you to take part. And if you've hesitated in the past because you were afraid that you might not be as experienced or comfortable as everybody else, you know what? We're all making a fresh start in that place. All of us don't know what we're doing anymore. The playing field has never been more even. So if what I've said makes sense, the information desk is the place for you, or feel free to call the office on Monday, and I hope to work with you in September. But whatever happens there, just remember, it all comes back to this place. All comes back to this place. We are all taught by God, and we are all brought back to the altar with a spirit of joy, praise, thanksgiving, and truth.